Our story begins more than 60 years ago inside an abandoned chicken coop, where our founder discovered a retired teacher living, no home, no health care. So she said no to this injustice and yes to transforming lives. It's this drive, this compassion, that inspired AARP. Today, we empower people to choose how they live as they age. As a wise friend and fierce defender, we advocate for better health, financial security, and stronger communities. AARP, join us in making a difference.
Hello and welcome everyone to the second episode of Dr. Mark DeBrincat's Brain Health Boost Strategies for a Sharper Mind. In this episode, he will be diving into a simple yet powerful habits that can help you strengthen your memory, sharpen your focus, and support long-term brain health. Whether you're looking to improve your concentration or keep your brain energized as you age, we hope that you will learn from Dr. Mark DeBrincat's tips today. So, let's get started on the journey to a healthier, more vibrant mind.
Hello, and thank you so much for having me back. It is my honor to be able to deliver some good news to those that are looking for a little hope and a little inspiration that they could have a healthier and better future. Now, today, millions of us are tuned in because they may be having issues with their brain, such as memory loss, cognitive decline, inability to focus and sustain that of focus. Maybe it's Alzheimer's, or maybe it's actually a traumatic brain injury. Whatever your scenario is, the brain is in the center of your life. So today we're going to talk about some simple habits that we can do to improve your memory, improve your focus and your cognitive decline, as well as your long-term brain health. So I'm so excited to have you here with us today. And let me share this beautiful journey of how to help restore and revitalize our brains. So here's the brain's challenge. 1 in 3 seniors in the United States either dies with Alzheimer's or some form of dementia. That's 1 in 3. Now, brain injuries affect millions a year who suffer from concussions and traumatic brain injuries that absolutely disrupt their lives. So, why does the decline happen? Well, there's several things leading to it: chronic inflammation, oxidative stress, poor circulation, and loss of cellular communication. The brain is a very highly energized organ, and it creates a major demand for its function. Now, it can also be very easily damaged. So the problem is, it's not just about the damage, it's about the brain's ability to self-correct. We have a built-in mechanism for self-healing and self-sustaining, but we have this major challenge. And so the whole key here is what's called homeostasis. Now, homeostasis is just the body's way of keeping balance, repairing the damage, and staying stable. So, when the brain is under stress, there could be different reasons, from a traumatic brain injury, which causes inflammation and disrupts the signaling in the brain and the brain's ability to communicate. And also, we have the concept of aging. As we age, our mitochondria weaken. These are the powerhouse of our cells that give us energy and these signaling molecules. And with the weakened and less mitochondria, guess what? We have less repair happening that we used to when we were actually younger. So the key point here is that if we can restore balance, the brain can recover from what we thought was absolutely impossible. I'm a perfect example of that. I was in a head-on collision. I was permanently disabled for many years. They told me to give up hope on ever getting all my abilities back. Well, let me just say that I am happy to say that 11 years ago, I did get all my abilities back. I was focusing more on how the body heals itself than just waiting for some miracle to happen. And I worked really hard at making sure that that next version of my cells was better than the current version, which definitely had a lot of issues. So, the key point here is that we can restore the brain and we can recover from what we ever thought was possible if we give our body the right tools to regain that potential. So, let me introduce to you what redox signaling molecules are. These are tiny natural molecules that our body already makes in every cell of our body. We are self sufficient. We make these amazing molecules and they act as a cellular communication network. This is the language of our cells. It's how they power our cells, keep them charged, and then communicate to all the other nearby cells. So, the role in the brain is that the signal repair when the cell is damaged. Now, unlike the rest of your body that's constantly replacing itself every few days to few weeks to few months, your brain cells, they're there for life. Now, all we can hope is that we can actually repair them when they're damaged. Well, it's the redox molecules that are the workers in there that literally help repair those cells so that they can continue to function. Now, they also activate antioxidants to go fight against this oxidative stress, which is trying to take away that cell signaling power that you have. And so these molecules are also going to help regulate inflammation, not by turning it off, but by balancing it so that your body can be the most efficient healer and repairer of cells that it can. Now, when you're in a decline state, or whether you've had an injury, these redox molecules have a greater need and you're making less of them. And so this means that less communication is going to slower that healing process and it's going to have more damage take place. And so the takeaway here is that redox signaling is like giving your brain back its missing language. So those cells can communicate and understand what they're needing and what they're trying to ask for and how to repair themselves. It's a beautiful concept that we can be created with such amazing diversity inside our own body. So, how does this support prevention and recovery of our brain cells? Well, it's very simple. Prevention of declines, it's all about keeping that oxidative stress in check. We are producing molecules that are neutralizing the oxidative stress, attacking our nerves, and taking that signaling away. This reduces the damaged inflammation when there's been an injury. It also enhances the communication for faster repair of your tissues. And it improves our circulation and our oxygen intake to be able to feed our cells the necessary molecules for them to repair themselves and recover. So it's all about balancing this oxidative stress so it doesn't turn into inflammation within our brains. So, what practical hope do we have to restore some of these losses and issues that we're dealing with? Well, I will say that it all starts with nutrition. Having a healthy diet with lots of plant-based foods and lean meats and vegetables is going to help your body produce a ton more redox molecules to give you that reserve and that resilience that you might have lost. It's important that we eat lots of healthy fats from salmon and from avocados and from nuts and olives. These are fats that our brain needs. Your nervous system needs fats to be able to fire. So I promise, eating healthy fats will not make you fat. It's going to make your brain healthier. And your brain will shrink over time if you do not have enough of these fats in your body. Now, the second component to this is hydration. Water is everywhere. We're over 70% water inside our bodies. Many of you don't drink water because it doesn't taste good or it makes you go to the bathroom too much. We're supposed to reabsorb 99% of our water back into our blood. 1% comes out as urine when we're signaling properly. If we have toxins and things in our body that our body doesn't want, we are going to flush more of that out. But here's the key: if you don't have hydration, all of the bad things just get embedded into your tissues and affect your health long term. So, water truly is the key. I want to add a caveat on there that filtered water is the key. Otherwise, your body becomes the filter. And we don't need to be filtering things that are unnecessary, from clean air to clean water to clean food. Try to eat as clean of food as you possibly can. Avoid the processed food. And I know that might be hard for some of us, but we're really not getting calories and good nutrients from all the processed food. It's empty calories. It's costing us more energy to try to break that down than we're getting out of it. So, hydration and nutrition can play such an important role. And then exercise. A body in motion stays in motion. You need to create endorphins in your brain to feel good and have energy and feel alive and vibrant. And the only way that happens is with movement. So, whatever the movements are, even if you just have to sit in a chair and move your arms, your body needs movement every day. Make sure that you don't do things too strenuous that might make you backslide. A simple walk, even a walk in the pool, if that is an option for you, will take a lot of that stress off your body, but get you that motion and activity that your body needs. So it's not about uh, balancing and replacing nutrition. It's about giving the body the tools that it needs. So outside of our nutrition and our diet and our hydration, there's a few more factors that really will play a magnificent role in helping you feel better and have more vitality, especially in your brain health. Now, I can't put enough emphasis on how important sleep is. The sleep is the time when you're going to actually do most of the healing in your body and the repairing and replacing of brand new cells. In fact, 75% of all the cells that you make in one single day happen in 1 hour of deep sleep. And so, if you're not getting quality sleep and you're not cycling through those sleep cycles, you are not going to get your brain restored. Now, your brain cells, they have one function and one function only: send information until the battery's dead. Okay, just like your phone, we charge it at night, we can use it all day until the battery dies. Then it's no use to us. It's still a phone, it still looks like a phone. Guess what? When your brain cells run out of a charge, they're still pretty, they still look like a brain cell, they're just not doing anything. It's like a car sitting in the garage. It's still a car, it's just not being used right now. It's when we sleep that we cycle through all of those sleep cycles, and it cranks up the battery and it charges our cells so that we can last all day long neurologically, cognitively, and not burn out before our physical body burns out. So, sleep is when we're repairing and when we're healing. The deep sleep is for our body to repair the tissues, and our REM sleep is for our brain to remodel and to heal itself and to clean up the memories that are not necessary so the other ones stand out for us. It also gives us the ability to wake up refreshed. Having a good night's sleep is so important. It's important that your room is pitch black. If there's any lights on at all, that they're red lights. This will not wake you up out of your sleep, and it'll help you get back into sleep. Now, there's several more tips that we can do to help you get a good night rest. The most important part is try to keep the electronics out of the room and keep the room dark and quiet, and the lights off, only red lights for the ambiance to be able to see where you're going, but not disrupt those sleep patterns that we want to maintain. Now, outside of sleep, stress reduction plays another huge role in our ability to maintain a healthy, balanced, and vibrant brain. We have the ability to adapt. Our brains have such an amazing ability to adapt. And there is a concept called the General Adaptation Syndrome, and it's GAS for short, GAS. And what this means is that your organs are constantly signaling your brain to tell you when it's time to go and when it's time to rest. Now, if you're in overzealous work mode and you don't want to shut it off, you ignore those signals and you tell your brain, I know I should rest, but if I just do something for a little more energy, I can get more work done. And you paint yourself into this corner that I have to get work done, I can't rest, and you're just staying wide open. Well, if you're not listening to your body signaling your brain, telling you to slow down, all your organs will stop signaling. They're going to say, hey, they said we just got to keep running. So everybody keeps running and stops signaling until guess what? You burn out. We want to avoid that burnout. And inevitably, it'll happen in all of us if we ignore the signals. We're supposed to have times of the day where we're active, and we're supposed to have times when we're relaxed. Now, doing meditations and breathing exercises and praying, all of this can help ground us and bring us back into a parasympathetic mode, a rest and digest mode. There is a time for fight and flight, and there's a time for rest and digest. And we want to have that balance. Doing deep breathing exercises can assist you in reconnecting with your body to be able to listen to those signals. Your brain will override them all and tell you to keep going, going, going. But that's not going to lead to good future for you. We want to help you live a nice, long, and vibrant life and have all sorts of energy to be able to play with your grandchildren and socialize and have activities that you're constantly doing. Now, there's also supplements that we can take that help enhance our body's redox potential. And that can be a natural way to help boost your journey and get you to where you're trying to get faster. So it's important that it's not all about medicine, and we're not trying to take away your medicine. We're just trying to give your body the tools it needs to thrive and survive. Your body will never overheal itself. Okay. But it can definitely underheal itself if it doesn't have the potential. Think of a battery. When the battery goes weak, your phone doesn't work. It needs potential. So our bodies have this built-in mechanism to make all sorts of redox to give us that potential again. I hope that you connect to that, and maybe having a different set of facts makes it a little bit easier to make some wise decisions about how you're treating yourself. Because inevitably, nobody else is going to care about what you're eating and what goes into your mouth and how you're taking care of yourself. But your brain does, your cells do. If we started treating our body like we do our own children, we would all be so much healthier. So I want to thank you all for listening, and I want to affirm our shared mission of brain health. Okay. Cognitive decline and brain injury is not a hopeless sentence. You have the right tools, your brain can recover, adapt, and thrive. Just start with small little steps. Each one is its own victory. And know that the redox signaling molecules is opening up a whole new frontier of brain health for you. And together, we can change families all over the world. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. God bless.
Well, hello, everyone, again. That was certainly a very interesting topic that you have shared, Dr. DeBrincat, and I am always honored to have this conversation with you. We are asking all of our viewers to just send us your questions, and we will try to get to it. We cannot promise you that we will get to everything, but we will select, and I can see that some of the questions are popping in. Are you ready, Dr. DeBrincat?
I sure am. Thank you.
Okay, so let's start with this one. What exactly is redox balance, and why is it so critical for brain health?
Well, thank you, Grace. That was a great question because not many people understand what redox balance is. And so it's a balance inside our brain cells that is either oxidative stress or inflammation. Those are the only two kinds of stress that any of your cells can ever feel. And if it's oxidative stress, we make redox molecules to neutralize it. If we can't neutralize it and that oxidative stress gets too far out of hand, it leads to inflammation, and that can lead to autoimmune issues. And so having the right redox balance keeps our brains at homeostasis. keeps us healthy, and keeps us with reserve and resiliency so we can respond to our environment and to different stresses easier and be able to maintain that homeostasis in our brain.
Okay. So thank you for that explanation. And we will pick another one here. How does oxidative stress actually harm the brain or over time?
Okay, that's another great question. Many
Okay.
people don't understand how oxidative stress damages our brains over time. So think of an apple, and if you were to take a bite out of that apple, what happens? In a very short time, the oxygen in the air attacks that apple, the inside, and uses up all of its sugar, and it turns brown. And so that's been oxidized. Think of rust on metal. Water gets to it, oxygen hits it, and rust creates. And so that same mechanism is happening inside our cells if that oxidative stress gets out of balance. It could attack the lipids, which are the fats around our nerves, and disrupting its ability to actually signal. It can disrupt the proteins in your brain, and that leads to amyloid plaque and Alzheimer's, which none of us want to get. It can also damage our mitochondria. That's that powerhouse of the cell that makes all that energy. And if it gets damaged, we lose energy and we can't repair our brain cells or even communicate properly through the rest of our body. And then it's also helps with neuroinflammation. And so this protects that blood-brain barrier from letting heavy metals and other toxins make it into your brain. And that can cause a whole bunch of havoc on your health. So these molecules are stopping all of those stresses from attacking different parts of your brain.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you for that visual, the apple. That's very good. Can the brain really heal itself even after years of stress or injury?
A great question, and the answer is absolutely yes. I have been helping people for over 30 years, and I have seen all sorts of traumatic brain injuries and different levels of cognitive decline. But the question really is, how much damage is there? You know, the brain's very plastic, which means flexible, which means neuroplasticity is when we're growing new brain tissues. And so it never is too late to challenge the brain to grow more tissues. We didn't even know that existed before 2008. It's the latest advancements in technology that allow us to see real-time signaling happening in the brain. And when people are put into a challenge and they're trying something that's unfamiliar and it's hard, but it's not too hard to quit, but it's not too easy to make it so easy that it's not difficult. It's that sweet spot in between. You start laying down new fibers and you can actually start regrowing and re-healing damaged areas of the brain decades after that's happened. Remember, your brain cells are always there. If they're not holding a charge, they're just going to sit like a car in your garage. You're not using it, but it's still a car. You still have brain cells that you just haven't activated in a long time, and they're wanting more than ever to go for a drive. You just got to do some things to give it the potential to turn it back on and allow it to do what it does best, function and send information for you.
Okay. So I think the key word there is it depends on the condition of the brain, you said, right? Okay.
Yeah, it depends on how much damage has taken place, and the severity of that damage. There is a point of no return where certain cells will not be able to heal themselves. But so often people don't even try. They're not challenging. And there's so many people that have brains that absolutely can wake up, but they've given up hope. So they stop trying. So the takeaway here is never stop trying. It's never too late. If you're breathing, your nervous system wants to function better. And the things that we do will enhance that. Absolutely. It just takes consistency in doing whatever it is that you're doing to see the change become a reality.
Can I ask a clarifying question then? So that's different
Please.
from Alzheimer's, the people that has the Alzheimer's condition. That's totally different. We're talking about brain injury here, right?
No, we're talking about any amount of cognitive decline. It can be Alzheimer's, it can be Parkinson's, it can be ALS, it can be MS, it can be any type of traumatic brain injury. It can just be a regular healthy brain that's aging. Okay, and that you're not as sharp as you what used to be, and your memory might not be as great as it used to be. Those are all normal signs of aging, but it's also normal signs of depleting your body's resources of these molecules that allow everything to keep happening. So it doesn't have to be related to any condition, or it can be every condition. It's all going on in your brain, and your brain wants to thrive. And it's very agreeable. So it wants to do things that if you're doing it and it works, it wants to keep doing that. It understands what it is to thrive, and it's just looking for a place to perform. And so we want to activate our brain cells. We want to do everything we can to keep them healthy as long as we can so we can live this wonderful long life of being healthy, not a slow decline till your last breath. Okay, there's so much more living we can all do. We just have to give our bodies more potential.
So, what kind of doctor should one look for so that we can? This is my own question.
Okay.
What,
um,
like,
you know,
who
it
should I?
depends. It depends on the type of situations that you're having. I am not a mental health practitioner. I
Okay.
am more of a brain doctor. Okay. And so I can objectively evaluate the brain and then recommend therapies and treatments to help target and grow new tissue in places and reorganize and to give the strength back. And so the outtake here is there's many different types of doctors that all do brain health. Okay, these are things that we've learned after school and went to a lot more school to learn how to be effective with it and to be able to communicate properly and then to be able to do treatments in order to track the progress of how far everybody's come. So you would be looking up QEEG brain mapping, cognitive tests, okay, things of that nature. And of course, you can always find that on thegoodnewsdoctor.com.
I should know that. I should start from you, and then you tell me where to go. We're really running out of time, but I want to squeeze in one last question for this show. For someone who is weak or overwhelmed, how can they take to begin the redox or the brain healing right now? What's the first step?
You know, I'm glad you asked me that question because a lot of times people get all this information. It can be a little overwhelming. And they're saying, where do I start? Okay, you start with one baby step. Okay, you eat an elephant one bite at a time. Okay, so one simple thing like a handful of berries or some more leafy green vegetables or just 5 minutes of breathing, calm breathing and rest. Okay. These are just simple habits. Try one thing and be consistent with it long enough to make that a habit. Prioritizing your sleep could be the first step for some of you. If you're not sleeping well, it's so hard to get your brain better because your brain's recharging itself and healing during sleep. So we need to make sleep a number one priority for those that are suffering. And here's a note for you: 65% of our country needs to take a sleep aid because they have dysregulated sleep otherwise. Now, movement plays a huge role. Some of you might be very sedentary, and so it might be more effective to let's just start walking each day. 15 minutes. If you can't walk, maybe start moving your arms in the chair. Any type of movement that your body does is going to create more health for your brain. Hydration. Some of you might know that you just don't drink enough water, or if you're drinking coffee all day, that doesn't count. You need 6 glasses of water to get rid of the 1 cup of coffee you drink. Okay, so we need fluids. We've talked about that, but hydration is huge. So maybe your first step is just taking a little bit extra water every day, or maybe a little salt in your mouth and then the water so you can actually absorb and drink more water. That's a great tip. Or just focus on my diet. Okay, try to eat less things that are preservatives in them, less artificial food, less processed food. Okay, so all of these things, doing more things to help, stopping the things that are hurting us, that are interfering with our brain health, just one thing at a time. You don't have to be perfect and make everything change overnight. One thing at a time to develop a habit. When you have a win with that, it energizes you, it empowers you. It's like, you give me an ounce of inspiration, I will give you gallons of perspiration to fight for that goal. And so every little one is a victory. And pretty soon you'll notice that you just had 10 new things this year that you've been able to add on and maintain. And now look at the quality of your life. It all goes back to, what are you willing to do for yourself? Okay. There's plenty of people like myself that would love to guide and direct you down that pathway on how to get better. But it all starts with you. You have to believe that you can be better, and that we are wonderfully and fearfully made, and that our bodies are resilient. And if we learn to work with that resilience, we will find a much higher level of health than we have ever achieved before.
What can I say? Every episode and have every opportunity to speak to you and for our audience to give all of these wonderful questions really enlightens all of us. So thank you once
Thank
again,
you.
Dr. DeBrincat, and expect a call from me. You will be my first.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me back again. It's always my pleasure to be able to share the good news with your community.
Thank you.